Good morning and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. I trust that you are well this glorious, glorious Tuesday morning. We got a little rain here early in West Central Florida, but we need it. We are 2.5 inches deficit, and we need some rain because it's been hot. The exciting news is that the high temperature today is going to be 85. Cool, blustery day here in the Sunshine State. A lot of times when, if you've been on this train as long as Paul and I have been on this train, if we know that if you just wait, that the left will expose itself. It's really like the child molester who is, put in the daycare. Eventually, if you wait long enough, they'll act out. I know that's a terrible analogy, but eventually it's true. They'll act out. They'll tell you. People who are sex offenders will tell you that given enough time, they will re-offend. They will. They know that. And these people in Washington, if given enough time, will tell you who they are. So during an interview with Bloomberg on Monday, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who I believe used to be in charge of the IRS, who held up 503c applications for Tea Party groups, same Janet Yellen, says she didn't know about China hacking the Commerce Secretary during their visit to China, and the issue of the hack wasn't brought up during her discussions. Yellen also stated that she is concerned about the hacking, and the U.S. expressed these concerns. We intend to continue to deepen our discussions with China to increase our engagement. What does that mean? I can tell you what it means. It means nothing. It means that we don't care because we are doing business with China, and we are doing business with China on a larger level because a lot of us want to be China. Yellen stated, I do have concerns about the hacking of the U.S. government officials or private individuals or companies. And no, she doesn't. And I know that the United States has expressed those concerns, but we intend to continue to deepen our discussion with China. We are getting further and further into bed with China to increase our engagement. And especially important to explain what our motivation is to avoid misunderstandings. What misunderstandings? China has this huge history, this verifiable history of stealing intellectual material, of spying. We just had 6 months ago China spy balloons over the continental United States. Spy balloons over the continental United States just 6 months ago. Anyway, President Xi and President Biden agreed in Bali that senior officials, including those in economics, should interact more, especially in economics. Especially in economics, should interact more and more regularly. I think an outcome of my trip was that we will have a deeper ongoing engagement at all levels. She just kept using this word engagement, like she knows what it means. She added, I did not know about, I believe I did not know about that, talking about the hacking of the Commerce Secretary while she was in Beijing. It wasn't one of the things that we discussed. I didn't know. Plausible deniability? Maybe. Climate change is not the existential threat to the United States. It is not. Even if it exists, and even if it exists in the manner that the climate alarmists say it does, it is not the existential threat. China is. China is. Because China understands that it doesn't take a direct hit. China controls a large part of the world. economically. Y'all have ordered from Temu, right? Y'all have ordered from Amazon, right? Most of the equipment that we have around us, this monitor, that camera, those lights, this thing I have here that you can't see really, is my flight yoke and throttle quadrant and rudder pedals for my flight simulator. We know where it was all made, right? We know. And we play this game like we don't know. We do know. Would we have bought American had it been available? Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Not available. All of it. The lights, the monitors, components in the computer would have bought American had it been available. Microphone, right? Would have. Not available. And you have to wonder why. During the COVID pandemic, the masks they were telling us to wear, made in China. Turn the box over and go, oh, this was made in the same place the virus was. Wow. Wonder what that's all about. I'm not telling you to think one thing or another, to believe one story or another. I'm asking you to consider what you're hearing, what you're seeing, mull it around in your head a little bit. Ask yourself questions. Explore the question in your mind, why? Now, I'm going to tell you, some of the answers that you come up with are going to be frightening. But it's okay. Go ahead and explore them. This is how we move the republic forward. This is how we save the republic, by first asking ourselves the questions why, and accepting some of the answers. So why? Why is the Democrat Party and leftists afraid of another leftist? What leftist are you talking about, Will? I am talking about Cornel West. Cornel West is seeking the Green Party's presidential nomination. James Carville, and we know James Carville is from Louisiana. He's been a Democratic strategist since forever and is quite the character. He really plays that whole Louisiana Boudreaux, so educated Boudreaux thing going on. He was on Anderson Cooper 360 and basically said that the left-wing academic Cornel West, who is seeking the the Green Party presidential nomination, was a threat to the continued constitutional order in the United States. Like the Democrat Party isn't? Carville said this: he's obviously an accomplished scholar and academic. He seems to be a very charming man, and he's also a menace, a threat to the continued constitutional order in the United States. And I say that because I look what Ralph Nader, who's directly responsible for the election of George W. Bush. Like, did Ralph Nader have enough votes to throw an election? No. So when people say that, if it hadn't been for Ross Perot, come on, come on. So Carville is blaming Ralph Nader for the election of George W. Bush, and thus blaming him for the horrific Iraq War and the horrific economic downturn we had, among other things. Really. He continued, Jill Stein. Remember Jill Stein, right? Jill Stein was the Green Party nominee a few years ago, right? A couple cycles ago. Who was his campaign manager is almost certainly an agent of the Russian government. Here we go again. Why did he say that? He says, if you don't believe me, somebody at home Google photo General Flynn, Vladimir Putin, Jill Stein. She was hosted by the Russians prior to her running in 2016. Carvel added. So again, I mean, this has been their thing, right? The thing is, well, we'll just attach them to the Russians. We'll use the Russians as a boogeyman. Russians are not good. That's why this whole Russian Ukraine thing. There's neither one of these people are good guys. Neither of them. And the people who are in Russia and the people who are in Ukraine are suffering because of Zelensky and Putin. They are. I believe that. But I'm off course. Carvel added, so people are going to have to decide, do we want to continue under our Constitution? Like the Democrats are interested in continue under the Constitution. First Amendment, Second Amendment, which are part of the Constitution, by the way. Sorry about your luck. They are. Because Donald Trump is telling us very clearly, this is James Carville talking, he is bragging about the fact that he doesn't want to live under the Constitution anymore. Now, of course, Carville is a character and will just say stuff. He's sort of like a quasi comedian who just gets to say stuff and nobody gets a challenge and nobody ever challenges him. No, I mean, the follow up question was when did Donald Trump say he didn't want to live under the Constitution anymore? You have any examples of that? Nobody asked that question. Anderson Cooper wasn't going to ask that question, that's for sure. And it's very clear that the only thing that Dr. West's candidacy can do is help elect Donald Trump. I don't think that any of that is arguable. So I said this is a fact, and there isn't anything to say about it because it's obviously true. So don't talk to me about it. Nor is it arguable that Jill Stein has deep relations or deep relationships with the Russian government. So what I said, it's not even arguable. I have stated this is fact. Carville says, and that's it. I'm not talking about it anymore. This is true. That's how propaganda works. Propaganda isn't open to discussion or discovery. Propaganda is stated, and it is forced as truth. We don't know, and you don't know, if Jill Stein is a Russian agent. We don't have any idea about that because she went to a party and had a picture taken. Don't know. The news media hasn't done any research. Certainly, Anderson Cooper hasn't. Carville is just saying stuff. And again, remember I said a little bit ago, you have to wonder why. It was because they want everybody who's on the left in a Democrat pocket. Because if you're not in a Democrat pocket, if you're off somewhere else, looking at something else, looking at a Jill Stein or a Cornel West or anybody else, then you could elect that evil Donald Trump again. That's why. Why would the Democrat Party attack this academic who Carville says is an accomplished scholar and academic? Why would they attack him? Because they're afraid that people will listen to what he has to say. Because they're not about discovery and they're not about discussion. They're about control. They want all, especially with Black folks, they don't want Black people on the left to be listening and to be seeking out someone like Cornel West. I'm just going to tell you, they don't. They want all the Black votes inside the plantation, and I hate using that term. So don't use that term. But they all want them, the Democrat Party. They don't want especially black people, especially young black academics, to be listening to someone like Cornel West, because if you listen to Cornel West, if you vote for Cornel West, you will be electing Donald Trump. They don't want you to think on your own. They never have. I mean, never will. Uh, as a musician, I am a professional musician by trade. Uh, Country singer, songwriter Miranda Lambert called a halt to her Las Vegas residency at Planet Hollywood on the weekend after she noticed some concert goers trying to capture the moment with cell phone selfies. They were trying to capture the moment. They're at a concert. They're in Vegas. They're at the Planet Hollywood. Miranda Lambert's on the stage, and they're trying to capture this memory. They're trying to get her in the shot at the same time. Lambert stopped her performance of the hit single Tin Man as she noticed some concert goers were more interested in their phones than her singing, and counseled them to immediately do better. She says this, I'm going to stop right here for a second. Sorry. She said, a video capturing, she said, a video capturing the moment. These girls are worried about their selfie and not listening to the songs is pissing me off a little bit. I don't like it at all. We're here to hear some country music tonight. I'm here to sing some country dang music. Then Lambert signaled to the fans to resume their seats and mouthed words, sit down. Shall we start again? Lambert asked the crowd after taking a second to collect herself. A representative for Lambert told the Los Angeles Times the singer had nothing further to share about the incident. Clearly, Lambert's decision to end the matter shows that she's a believer in the maximum what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Now, here's the problem. I don't know one Miranda Lambert song, not one. As a matter of fact, before I saw this picture here on Breitbart.com, and Miranda Lambert came to my front door, I'd be like, well, hi, how may I help you? I wouldn't have any earthly idea who she was. My wife would recognize her, my son will recognize her, but I don't have any idea who she is. I know the name, and I know that she's just another chick singer. I know what I'm going to say is so misogynistic from that right now. Another chick singer. And quite frankly, most chick singers are a dime a dozen. Most of these careers are put together by record companies to make money. And my guess is that Miranda Lambert is, again, probably one of those. It is entitlement and narcissism that would make her think that what she's doing is so damned important that she could scold people who paid to get in her show. Sing your songs, honey. Take the money and shut the hell up. You're not that important. You're not that good. Nobody cares. Get over yourself. Which I think this is happening in the U.S. military now. But that's just me. That's just me. There's a story about, hang on a second. This National Guard recruit who's thinking about resigning after an incident she had, after being forced to shower with a transgender, with a dude, I hate that term, a dude who was fully intact. According to Fox News Digital, an 18-year-old military recruit was forced not only to shower with a biological male, but she was forced to sleep in between two individuals who were supposedly changing. The recruit reported significant distress about the matter. Senator Mike Round, Republican from South Dakota, brought up the story during a hearing last week. He said this: I'm aware of the situation. It was just brought to my attention. A young woman in the South Dakota National Guard experienced a situation at basic training where she was sleeping in open bays and showering with biological males who had not had the gender reassignment surgery. So she is showering and sleeping with dudes, but were documented as, quote, females because they had begun the drug therapy process. This 18-year-old girl was uncomfortable, at least with her situation, but had limited options as how to deal with it. If she raised her hand, she feared she'd be targeted for retaliation, which is probably true. She could have recycled, which had delayed her freshman college start and would not have provided a guarantee of a different situation. She could request to leave the Guard for religious purposes and not be able to pursue her dream of serving her country, he added. Rounds was asking the Biden administration's nominee for chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown, how he would deal with the situation if confirmed by the Senate. Brown said this: Sir, one of the things I've thought about in and throughout my career as you're being inclusive, but you don't want to make other individuals uncomfortable. And so there's a reason, as we look at our policies and our approaches and get feedback like this, we have to take a look to see if we can improve on how we approach situations like this. And as I've done as the service chief has done throughout my career. If confirmed, I will continue to do so. I think Kamala Harris wrote that. Rounds told Fox News Digital that he heard about the matter from the Attorney General of South Dakota National Guard. He had contacted our office very concerned about the information that he had received from the recruit. Rounds told the outlet, and the respect that this young woman should have received and the privacy that she should have had and that she was deprived of. Because John Kirby said this about that.
1 in 5 members of the U.S. military are women. You have every right to expect that the organization, in this case the military, is going to take care of you, and they're going to take care of your families, and they're going to make sure that you can serve with dignity and respect. No matter. Female service members, 1 in 5.
Brown said the recruit being put in such an uncomfortable position by the Biden's woke agenda is one of the reasons why we're not meeting our requirement goals right now. Now, John Kirby says it's because of abortion laws being passed in the states. That's what John Kirby says. We have those clips too. If you want them, all you have to do is ask for them in the comments. We have those clips. John Kirby says so. Round says this seems to be a direct correlation between when the President of the United States issued the executive order making these changes and directing the Department of Defense to integrate individuals who were transgender and how they should be perceived within the military. Most of the focus is on the transgender individuals, not on individuals who are working with them. He told Fox News Digital that he received a request for a call from Brown who wanted more information. I've received a phone call from General Brown. He wants to discuss specifically this case. He wants more information, and I will take that call next week from him, and we'll see which direction he is recommending should he be confirmed as Chief of Staff of the Department of Defense, Brown says. Well, again, this is why This is the why show. I want you to think, why is this happening? Now, this is an 18-year-old girl. This is not, this is somebody who is in the culture, so to speak. Doesn't seem like, for most people, at least what we're hearing in media, that she would have a problem with this. Maybe what we're hearing in the media, what we're hearing about the culture, and hearing about these 18, 19-year-olds, maybe it isn't true. Maybe there are people out there who are like, I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like it was okay. I was showering with this man. Maybe that's not okay. So you have to think in your brain, why is this happening? You can't just it off. You have to think about it. Nothing will change, nothing will get better unless you first think about it and ask yourself the question why. Why would they force this kid to go through this? Why? Why? To what end? That's why we're here. That's why the Morning Report is here. That's why Fight Back Media is here. And if you are interested in opening cans of worms, kicking, knocking Pandora's box off the table, go to fightbackmedia.com, 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 and join our Fight Back Media team. Just fill out the form with your name and your email address. Paul and I will get back to you. We'll have a conversation. We'll have a way for you to upload your stories, your vlogs, your blogs, your photos, your videos, and you can be a part of the Fight Back Media team. Citizen journalism is where it's at, baby. All right, until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye bye now.